The 1960 Lincoln Memorial Penny is one of the most fascinating coins in American numismatics. Imagine holding a tiny, ordinary copper penny in your hand, something so small you might toss it into a jar without a second thought. Now imagine that very same coin, weighing just over 3 grams of copper, being worth thousands of dollars. Yes, not just a few hundred, but a staggering $5,400 in today's collector market. Shocking, isn't it? Who would ever think that a penny minted in 1960 at the Denver Mint could hide such life-changing value? This isn't a myth, it isn't a fairy tale, it's cold, hard, numismatic reality. That little brown coin sitting in your pocket change right now could be a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. The 1960 Lincoln Memorial Penny is one of those rare treasures that makes collectors' hearts race. At first glance, it looks just like any other cent from that decade, bearing the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the grand memorial on the reverse. But what sets it apart is the mint mark D, which identifies it as having been struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint was known for high production numbers, churning out millions of coins each year. So why is this one penny so valuable, while countless others from the same year are only worth face value? The answer lies in rarity, demand, and condition. Collectors obsess over even the tiniest details. Some 1960 pennies have small variations in the date, known as small date and large date varieties. The differences may be subtle to the untrained eye, but for numismatists, those varieties represent enormous value. Certain examples with sharp strikes, no visible wear, and perfect luster can command thousands at auction. When you hear about a 1960 penny selling for $5,400, it isn't just a stroke of luck. It's the result of careful grading, rarity, and the hunger of passionate collectors competing for ownership. But how do you check if you have one of these valuable coins? First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date on the obverse. Pay attention to the size of the 1960 numbers. If the 0 appears smaller and tighter, you may be looking at the small date variety, which is highly sought after. Next, check for the mint mark D located just under the date. Its shape, clarity, and alignment matter. Some era coins from that year also feature doubling on the date or mint mark, which sends their value skyrocketing. Finally, examine the coin's condition. Is the shine still there? Are the details of Lincoln's hair, face, and coat crisp and clear? Coins with sharp detail and little to no wear can climb dramatically in price. When it comes to verifying authenticity, never rely solely on your own eyes if you're unsure. Sending the coin to a professional grading service such as PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, is the smartest step. These institutions certify coins, assign a grade from 1 to 70, and seal them in protective cases. A certified grade like MS-65 or MS-66 can be the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth thousands. Imagine pulling a coin from circulation, mailing it off, and having it return in a slab with a label declaring it a gem-quality rarity. That's the dream for any collector. Now let's talk about storing these coins. Many beginners make the mistake of keeping rare coins in simple jars or plastic bags. This is a recipe for disaster. Copper is highly reactive and can easily corrode or develop unattractive spots if exposed to moisture, air, or oils from your fingers. To properly store a 1960 Lincoln Memorial Penny, you should place it in an acid-free coin flip, capsule, or holder. These are made from safe materials that won't damage the coin over time. If you want extra protection, consider storing them in albums designed for pennies, which not only keep them safe, but also showcase their beauty. Another essential storage tip is handling. Always hold the coin by its edges, never touching the surface directly. Oils and sweat from your skin can permanently stain or etch the coin's surface. If you truly want to go professional, wear cotton or nitrile gloves while handling. Keeping the coin in a cool, dry, stable environment is also key. Avoid storing coins in attics or basements where temperature and humidity fluctuate wildly. A controlled setting like a safe deposit box or a dedicated coin cabinet will help preserve their brilliance for generations. The story of the 1960 penny is more than just about copper and value. It's about history. Every coin carries the weight of its time. 1960 was an era of change in America, the beginning of a new decade, the election of John F. Kennedy, the ongoing tensions of the Cold War. To think that a penny from that period has survived decades and now commands thousands is nothing short of amazing. Collectors don't just buy the metal. They buy the story, the connection to the past, and the thrill of owning something unique that few others have. For beginners, the idea of a penny being worth over $5,000 may sound absurd, but once you dive into the world of numismatics, you'll realize that this is the norm. Tiny differences, small minting quirks, and untouched condition can separate a common coin from a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. That's why hobbyists constantly check pocket change, roll hunt through bank boxes, and study reference guides late into the night. They know that at any moment they might stumble across the jackpot, the coin that changes everything. Let's not forget the auction world. Many 1960 pennies have been showcased in prestigious sales. Collectors with deep pockets fight fiercely over high-grade examples, driving prices higher and higher. That's the beauty of rare coins. Their value isn't static. It's driven by passion, demand, and scarcity. Today, it might be worth $400, but tomorrow, if demand spikes, it could be even more. That's what makes collecting so thrilling. It's not just a hobby, it's an investment with real potential. So, the next time you find yourself dismissing that old jar of pennies, stop and think. Could a treasure be hiding in plain sight? Could you be sitting on a fortune without realizing it? The 1960 Lincoln Memorial Penny teaches us that extraordinary value can exist in the most ordinary of places. All it takes is a careful eye, a little patience, and the knowledge to identify what you have. Imagine the pride of discovering such a coin, securing it in a safe holder, and knowing you own a piece of history worth thousands. That's the magic of numismatics. In the end, the 1960 Lincoln Memorial Penny isn't just about money. It's about curiosity, attention to detail, and respect for history. It's about realizing that even the humblest object, when preserved with care and knowledge, can transform into something priceless. So, keep looking, keep learning, and who knows? Maybe the next legendary discovery is already in your hands. Next up, 1962 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, $5,000 value. Picture this for a moment. You're digging through an old box of keepsakes in the attic, brushing away dust, and tucked beneath faded photographs and yellowed letters you spot a small, forgotten penny. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than pocket change, the kind you'd hand over at a store without thinking twice. But imagine the shock when you discover that this humble coin, a 1962 Lincoln Memorial Penny without a mint mark, could be valued at $5,000 in today's collector market. A single cent transforming into thousands of dollars, it almost feels unreal, doesn't it? Yet, in the world of rare coins, stories like this happen more often than you think. The 1962 penny belongs to the famous Lincoln Memorial series, introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Unlike its predecessors featuring wheat ears on the reverse, the memorial design presented the stately Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. But here's the twist. Not every penny is created equal. The absence of a mint mark on the 1962 issue means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at that time. Millions were produced, yet finding one in pristine condition or with unique varieties makes it a collector's dream. That's where rarity enters the picture. While most 1962 pennies are only worth their face value, a small fraction carry qualities that elevate their price into the thousands. So, how can you tell if the penny you hold could be one of these treasures? First, examine the date 1962 with care. Under magnification, certain error coins from that year exhibit doubling on the numbers, particularly on the 2. Such doubling, known as a double die, can multiply value significantly. Next, note the missing mint mark. If you see a D or S, then it's from Denver or San Francisco and not the no mint mark Philadelphia issue we're focusing on here. The absence of a mint mark under the date confirms its origin. Beyond that, condition is everything. A coin that still glows with original mint luster, showing no scratches, discoloration, or wear, is far more desirable than one that's been through countless hands. Collectors look for sharp lines in Lincoln's hair, clear details in his coat, and distinct edges on the memorial building. Grading is another critical factor. Coins are judged on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. A regular 1962 penny in average circulated condition might fetch only a few cents, but one graded MS-65 or higher, with a flawless strike and brilliant red luster, can reach thousands. That's how examples of the 1962 no mint mark penny have achieved astonishing prices of up to $5,000 at auctions. Sending your coin to a grading authority like PCGS or NGC ensures credibility. They encapsulate the coin in a tamper-proof holder, certifying its authenticity and preserving its condition for decades to come. Now let's talk about something many new collectors overlook: preservation. Storing coins properly is vital. If you simply toss that valuable penny into a drawer, it's bound to collect scratches, dust, and environmental damage. For copper coins like the 1962 penny, oxidation is a serious enemy. Exposure to air, humidity, or pollutants can cause unsightly green spots known as verdigris. Once this happens, the coin's beauty and value are permanently damaged. To safeguard your coin, use airtight holders or coin slabs, which seal the coin away from harmful elements. Some collectors prefer inert plastic capsules, which allow viewing without handling. Whatever method you choose, the key is to avoid materials containing PVC, as these release chemicals over time that corrode metal surfaces. Handling practices are equally important. Always pick up a coin by its edges, never placing fingers on its face. Skin oils can leave invisible residue that gradually darkens or stains copper. If you need to move or examine coins often, invest in soft cotton or nitrile gloves. For long-term safety, consider adding silica gel packets to storage boxes to absorb excess moisture. Climate-controlled environments, away from sunlight and temperature swings, are ideal. Think of your coin as a delicate artifact, because that's exactly what it is: an artifact of American history. But beyond the technicalities of grading and storing lies the true heart of collecting: the story. The 1962 no mint mark Lincoln penny is not just metal. It's a time capsule. It carries within it the echoes of an era when America stood on the brink of monumental change. In 1962, John F. Kennedy was president. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world to the edge of nuclear conflict, and the civil rights movement was gathering unstoppable momentum. To hold a penny from that year is to hold a piece of that turbulent, transformative time. That's what collectors cherish: the human connection, the chance to touch history with their fingertips. Think also of the thrill of discovery. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, pouring through a jar of coins collected over the years. Your eyes catch the date, 1962. You notice no mint mark and your pulse quickens. You reach for a magnifier, examine every curve of the digits, check the crispness of the strike. Could this be the one? The excitement of possibly finding a coin worth thousands from a pile of pennies is unmatched. It's a rush of adrenaline that every numismatist knows well. And if you confirm it, if it turns out to be one of those high-grade rarities, your life changes in an instant. That little cent becomes a trophy, a symbol of patience rewarded. Auctions prove the incredible demand. Time and again, rare 1962 no mint mark pennies in superb condition have sold for jaw-dropping sums. The bidding wars highlight not only the value of the coin, but also the passion collectors have for acquiring the best. Unlike stocks or bonds, coins are tangible assets. They're objects you can hold, admire, and pass down as heirlooms. And unlike many modern items, they don't depreciate in sentimental or historical worth. Each year, as more collectors enter the field, demand grows, and the coins left in pristine condition become scarcer. This is why the 1962 no mint mark penny continues to climb in desirability and price. It's also important to understand the educational aspect. Searching for coins sharpens your eye for detail, teaches patience, and deepens appreciation for history. A 1962 penny may be small, but it embodies decades of American heritage. For families, the hobby can become a shared adventure. Parents and children hunting through coin rolls together not only learn about mint marks and varieties, but also share stories, laugh, and bond. Finding that rare treasure becomes a memory that lasts a lifetime. So what should you do if you stumble across one of these pennies? Step 1. Resist the urge to clean it. Many beginners think polishing improves value, but in reality, it does the opposite. Cleaning removes the natural patina and can leave micro-scratches, destroying collector appeal. Step 2. Examine the coin under good light. Check for errors, confirm the absence of a mint mark, and assess its condition. Step 3. Consider professional grading for any coin that looks promising. Once certified, your penny becomes more than just a lucky find, it becomes an authenticated piece of numismatic history. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, the lesson of the 1962 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is clear. Never underestimate the power of the ordinary. Something as small and overlooked as a 1-cent coin can hold stories, wealth, and wonder. It reminds us that value is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for a curious eye to uncover it. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just emptied their pocket change onto the table, the possibility is always there, that the next penny you pick up could be worth thousands. In the world of coins, mystery and excitement go hand in hand. And the 1962 penny is proof of that magic. To think that a copper disc minted over 60 years ago could still inspire awe, excitement, and competition among collectors today is nothing short of remarkable. Hold one in your hand and you'll understand. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history, a symbol of rarity, and maybe, just maybe, a ticket to an unexpected fortune. Next up, 1964 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, $4,600 value. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. You're standing in line at a small grocery store, jingling the change in your pocket, annoyed at the handful of pennies you've collected throughout the week. You're ready to dump them into a tip jar or even leave them on the counter. But what if I told you that one of those worthless little copper cents could secretly be valued at an astonishing $4,600? That's not a dream. It's not a gimmick. It's the story of the 1964 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny. A coin so common in appearance yet capable of delivering the kind of surprise that makes collectors stop in their tracks. The year was 1964. America was buzzing with change. Beatlemania was sweeping across the nation. The Civil Rights Act had just been signed into law, and President Lyndon B. Johnson was promising a great society. Amid this cultural transformation, billions of pennies rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia Mint. The vast majority of them disappeared into circulation, passed from hand to hand unnoticed and uncelebrated. But tucked among the countless billions are a few extraordinary survivors. Coins that defy the odds through condition, rarity, or striking errors, making them valuable treasures for collectors today. Unlike pennies from Denver, which carry a bold D mint mark under the date, the Philadelphia Mint in 1964 used no identifying letter. So, when you see a penny with no mint mark from that year, you know it originated in the nation's oldest minting facility. Now, you might wonder, if millions were made in Philadelphia, why would this one be worth thousands? The answer is subtle but powerful. Not all coins are created equal. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth $4,600 comes down to tiny details invisible to the casual eye. Let's talk about how to check. If you own one of these valuable coins, first, take out a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look at the date, 1964, carefully. Some coins from this year show evidence of doubled dies, where the numbers appear slightly doubled due to a striking misalignment at the mint. These errors can significantly increase value. Another factor is the condition of the coin. Grading is critical. Coins that still flash with their original reddish luster, sharp edges, and no scratches or discoloration are far rarer than the heavily worn ones you find in pocket change. High-grade examples graded MS-65 or higher are the ones that reach the upper market value of $4,600. To put it simply, condition turns ordinary into extraordinary. But don't stop at the date. Check the reverse side as well. Examine the Lincoln Memorial design under magnification. Look for clarity in the columns, sharpness in the lettering, and clean detail on the statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Even the smallest weakness in strike or wear can drop a coin's grade and its value dramatically. If you think you have a candidate worth serious money, consider sending it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations will authenticate your penny, assign it a grade, and encapsulate it in a tamper-proof holder, giving it legitimacy in the marketplace. A coin graded and certified is much easier to sell to collectors and often brings premium prices at auction. Now, Let's discuss storage, because having a valuable coin is one thing, keeping it valuable is another. Many people unknowingly ruin rare coins by storing them improperly. The 1964 penny made of copper is especially vulnerable to environmental hazards. While earlier I talked about airtight holders and capsules for other coins, let's explore a different approach here. Coin albums and archival quality storage sheets. Specially designed albums allow you to showcase your collection while protecting each coin in a safe, non-reactive environment. These albums use materials that won't release harmful chemicals, ensuring that the penny's surface remains stable for years to come. For even greater safety, some collectors use intercept shield boxes, which neutralize atmospheric gases and slow down natural toning or corrosion. Remember, a penny left in a drawer or plastic bag can deteriorate quickly. A penny protected with care can hold its value or even appreciate over time. Handling is another often overlooked aspect. With copper coins like the 1964 no mint mark, even a light touch can leave fingerprints that eventually show as permanent marks. Always use tools designed for numismatics, like soft-tipped coin tongs, instead of picking coins up with your fingers. Storing desiccants like silica gel in your coin box will further protect against humidity. Think of it this way. You're not just storing metal, you're guarding history. Every step you take in protecting your penny ensures that future generations will see it as it was meant to be. Brilliant, sharp, and valuable. But beyond technical details lies the real magic, the story that makes this coin so fascinating. To hold a 1964 penny is to hold a piece of a nation in transition. It was a time of both hope and tension, when the space race with the Soviet Union fueled dreams of the stars and social movements redefined justice and equality at home. This little coin circulated in pockets during those days, silently witnessing the exchange of goods, the passing of letters, the buying of newspapers that told the story of a changing America. That connection to history is what fuels collectors' passion. It's not just the copper, it's the narrative it carries. Auctions have repeatedly shown that the best-preserved 1964 pennies ignite bidding wars. Collectors want them not just for their rarity, but for their significance in completing a collection. The Lincoln Memorial series, spanning from 1959 to 2008, remains one of the most popular U.S. coin series ever. To have a high-grade example of a key year like 1964 adds prestige to any collection. And when collectors with deep pockets compete, prices soar. That's how these seemingly ordinary cents achieve extraordinary worth. There's also the thrill of the hunt. Imagine yourself sitting with a box of penny rolls from the bank, carefully opening each one, scanning every coin. Hours pass and your eyes grow tired. Then suddenly you spot it. 1964, no mint mark, glowing red as if it had just left the press. The excitement rushes through you. Could this be the coin that changes everything? That possibility keeps collectors searching, year after year, roll after roll. It's not just about the value, it's about the chase, the patience, and the moment of discovery. And here's an important reminder. Never clean your coin. Many people think polishing will make it shine, but in the collector world, cleaning is considered damage. The natural surfaces, even with minor toning, are what make the coin desirable. Cleaning leaves behind micro-scratches and destroys the originality, often cutting the value in half, or worse. If your coin looks dull, leave it that way. Serious collectors prize authenticity over artificial shine. The $4,600 market value associated with the 1964 no mint mark penny is more than just a number. It represents decades of numismatic study, countless collectors chasing perfection, and the undeniable truth that history has value. And remember, coin values are not static. They change with demand. As the hobby continues to grow worldwide and as pristine examples become harder to find, it's possible that these pennies could climb even higher in the years ahead. Owning one today is like holding an investment that carries both financial and historical weight. In the end, the lesson of the 1964 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny is simple yet profound. Never overlook the ordinary. In a handful of pocket change, there may be a hidden fortune. In a box of forgotten coins, there may be a piece of history. That's the beauty of numismatics. It transforms something mundane into something extraordinary. And for those lucky enough to discover a high-grade 1964 penny, the reward is more than just monetary. It's the pride of knowing you've uncovered a secret treasure, one that links you to the past and promises value for the future. Next up, 1966, no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, $4,200 value. Imagine walking past a vending machine, reaching into your pocket, and pulling out a penny to pay. You think nothing of it. After all, it's just a cent, tiny, common, and nearly worthless. But what if that single penny wasn't worth 1 cent? Not even $1, but an astonishing $4,200? That's the shocking truth behind the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, a coin that hides extraordinary value in plain sight. While millions of these pennies were minted in Philadelphia, only a handful of surviving examples in top condition or with unique quirks have achieved this jaw-dropping market value. It's proof that sometimes the smallest things can carry the biggest surprises. The mid-1960s were a fascinating time in American history. The United States was in the midst of the space race. Cultural revolutions were sweeping the streets, and the Vietnam War was escalating. At the same time, coins themselves were undergoing changes. In 1965, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks from coins altogether, a decision intended to discourage collectors from hoarding. That means in 1966, all pennies, whether struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, appeared without any mint mark at all. This unusual moment in numismatic history makes coins from the mid-1960s especially interesting. But within that vast production run, some coins stand out for their pristine preservation or striking errors, making them highly coveted and worth thousands today. So, how can you tell if your 1966 penny might be a rare gem? Start by carefully examining the date, 1966. Look for signs of doubling on the numbers, especially the sixes, which are prone to showing slight misalignment on certain error coins. Doubling often occurs when a die strikes the planche twice in slightly different positions, and collectors pay top dollar for these anomalies. Next, check the surfaces. Is the coin bright with a fiery red-orange luster, or has it dulled with age? The brightest, most lustrous examples are the ones collectors fight over at auctions. Grading plays a crucial role here. A coin in average circulation is barely worth more than face value, but one graded MS-65 or higher can rocket in value to thousands. That's how examples of the 1966 no mint mark penny have fetched up to $4,200 on the market. Condition is everything. When you study the obverse, focus on the details in Lincoln's hair, face, and coat. On the reverse, check the clarity of the Lincoln Memorial. Can you see the fine lines in the columns and even the faint statue of Lincoln inside? A sharp strike with no visible scratches or wear is what separates a fortune from pocket change. If your coin looks promising, the next logical step is to send it to a grading service like NGC or PCGS, who will authenticate and assign it an official grade. A certified coin isn't just worth more, it's easier to sell, more trusted by collectors and often displayed as a true trophy piece. Now, let's move into something collectors often underestimate: storage and protection. If you're lucky enough to own a valuable 1966 penny, keeping it safe is as important as finding it. Earlier, we talked about capsules, flips, and albums, but here let's explore another professional method: 2x2 cardboard holders with mylar windows. These holders allow you to mount the coin securely, write important details on the outside, and still view the coin without touching it. They're inexpensive, widely used by collectors, and effective at preventing scratches. For serious long-term storage, many also place these holders in 3-ring binders with archival pages, creating both a protective and organized collection. Some enthusiasts even go one step further, using fireproof safes or bank deposit boxes to protect their coins from theft or disaster. After all, a $4,200 penny deserves security worthy of its value. Handling also requires discipline. Never pick up your 1966 penny by touching its surfaces. Always handle it by the rim, and if possible, use gloves. Copper coins are particularly reactive, and the oils on your fingers can leave marks that become permanent over time. A single careless touch could drop a coin's grade and its value by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Think of handling your coin the way a museum curator handles an ancient artifact, with respect, care, and precision. What makes this penny so fascinating isn't just the money, it's the story it tells. The decision to remove mint marks in 1965 and 1966 reflected the government's struggle with coin shortages and hoarding behavior during the mid-century coinage crisis. For 2 years, mint marks disappeared, making all coins look identical regardless of where they were struck. This quirk of history makes the 1966 penny special, a time capsule of economic and cultural tension. Holding one is like stepping back into that turbulent decade when the nation was grappling with profound change and uncertainty. Collectors thrive on that connection to history. For some, it's not just about the shiny copper. It's about the thrill of finding something rare that bridges past and present. Think about it. This coin, which once bought a stick of gum or a newspaper, now commands thousands of dollars. It's a reminder that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes it takes a trained eye, patience, and a bit of luck to uncover it. That's why coin roll hunters and hobbyists alike never tire of searching through change. The possibility of finding a hidden fortune keeps the excitement alive. Auction houses have witnessed the drama firsthand. Stories abound of 1966 pennies in pristine red condition igniting bidding wars between passionate collectors. One pristine specimen can spark competition so fierce that prices soar far above initial estimates. That's how a coin that most people overlook in daily life ends up being the centerpiece of a high-end collection. And here's the kicker. Values are not fixed. Today, the record stands at $4,200 for a top-quality 1966 penny. But tomorrow, as demand rises and surviving examples become even scarcer, the price could climb higher. Collectors see coins not just as artifacts, but also as investments, a hedge against time itself. If you think you might have one of these treasures, follow a few golden rules. Don't clean the coin, ever. Cleaning destroys originality, stripping away the natural surfaces that collectors crave. Even if a coin looks dirty or dull, resist the urge to polish. It's far better to leave it as is than to ruin its value. Second, document what you have. Take clear photos, note any unusual features, and compare it with trusted coin guides. Third, if you're unsure, consult a professional dealer or submit it for grading. The peace of mind and potential value increase are well worth the effort. In the grand scheme of numismatics, the 1966 no mint mark penny teaches a valuable lesson. Greatness often hides in plain sight. It's a coin that reminds us that something small, overlooked, and ordinary can hold extraordinary worth. It inspires us to pay closer attention, to look at the details, and to treasure the history that rests in our hands. And for those fortunate enough to discover one of these gems, the reward is not only financial, it's the pride of holding a living piece of history, preserved against all odds. So the next time you dismiss a handful of pennies, pause for a moment. Among those copper discs could be a secret fortune, a penny worth thousands, a piece of American history disguised as loose change. The 1966 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny is living proof of this truth. 1 cent may seem small, but in the right condition, it can tell a story, preserve a legacy, and deliver a reward beyond imagination. Next up, 1970, no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, value $4,000. Imagine you are emptying your pocket change at the end of a long day. You toss a few coins onto the table without thinking twice. Among them lies a dull brown penny, almost overlooked because of its ordinary appearance. But here is the shocking truth. That small, common-looking coin might not be ordinary at all. If it happens to be the 1970 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny, you could be staring at a piece of copper worth an incredible $4,000. Just the thought that such a life-changing fortune could be hiding in plain sight makes this coin one of the most thrilling discoveries any collector could dream of. It isn't just about owning a coin. It's about holding a secret piece of history that could turn everyday pocket change into a rare treasure. The 1970 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny carries a fascinating story of minting, scarcity, and collector demand. In 1970, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of pennies, and most bore clear mint marks identifying whether they came from Denver or San Francisco. But occasionally, due to human error or transitional oversights, certain coins were struck without the expected mint mark. These overlooked pieces slipped into circulation unnoticed at the time. To the average person, they were worth just 1 cent. But to numismatists today, they represent a rarity that sparks excitement and competition at auctions. The absence of the mint mark on this year makes the coin instantly recognizable to those who know where to look. And that little missing detail is what transforms it from a common cent into a collector's prize. So how do you actually check if you have one of these valuable pennies? First, you need to carefully examine the obverse of the coin, the side showing Abraham Lincoln's bust. Just below the year 1970, there should normally be a small mint mark like D or S. If that tiny symbol is completely missing, you may have found yourself a no mint mark variety. But don't stop there. Because wear and tear can sometimes make mint marks fade, you'll need a magnifying glass to confirm the absence. In genuine no mint mark pennies, the space beneath the year will look smooth and clean, without any sign of tampering or faint lettering. It's this tiny detail that collectors obsess over. And it's what makes the difference between a penny worth just a cent and one that could sell for thousands. Another feature to check is the overall strike quality. Many 1970 no-mint mark pennies display strong details on Lincoln's hair and the lettering around the rim. These sharp features indicate that the coin came from a fresh die, which often excites collectors even more. You should also pay close attention to the reverse, where the Lincoln Memorial is engraved. On a genuine no-mint mark penny from 1970, the columns of the memorial are crisp, and with magnification you might even spot the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the structure. The cleaner and more detailed these features, the higher the grade and the higher the potential market value. Coins that have been graded by professional services like NGC or PCGS often fetch the most impressive prices because authentication gives buyers complete confidence in what they are paying for. Now comes the question of value. A regular worn 1970 penny with no mint mark may only sell for a few $100s, depending on condition. But when you find an uncirculated example, untouched by decades of handling, the story changes entirely. These pristine coins, often shimmering with original mint luster, can command prices that soar to $4,000 or more at auction. Collectors are willing to pay such high amounts because they know how few of these coins exist, and rarity always drives value in the numismatic world. To hold a coin in such condition is like holding a frozen moment from 1970, preserved across time in flawless copper. Once you identify such a coin, the next step is ensuring you protect it. Improper storage can strip away its luster and value in a matter of years. The best way to store a 1970 no-mint mark penny is in an airtight coin capsule that prevents air and moisture from tarnishing the metal. Avoid using PVC-based plastic holders, as the chemicals can cause a green residue known as PVC damage, which permanently scars the coin's surface. If you're storing multiple coins, a professional coin album with acid-free pages is another excellent choice, as it provides both security and organization. And never handle the coin with bare fingers. The oils and dirt from your skin can leave invisible marks that eventually show up as dark spots. Always use cotton gloves or gently hold the coin by its edges if you need to inspect it. Protecting the coin today ensures that it will retain its beauty and value for decades to come. The allure of the 1970 no-mint mark penny also lies in the human story behind it. Imagine the countless people who spent these coins, never knowing their hidden worth. Maybe one sat in a child's piggy bank for years, or passed through hundreds of hands in grocery stores and gas stations. Each of those moments hid the potential of treasure, waiting only for the right eyes to recognize it. That is what makes coin collecting such an addictive pursuit. The thrill of the unknown. The possibility that the next coin you find could be extraordinary. Collectors love telling the stories of their discoveries. There are accounts of people buying rolls of pennies from banks just to search through them in hopes of finding rare no-mint mark varieties like this one. Some even dedicate years to the hunt, knowing that the reward could be enormous. Every time a 1970 no-mint mark penny appears at auction, it reignites the passion and curiosity of the community. It reminds everyone that history is still out there, hiding in places as simple as your change jar or the forgotten corners of a desk drawer. When you consider the value of this coin, it isn't just about the money. It's also about the connection to the past. The year 1970 marked an era of change in America. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse symbolizes unity and history, while Lincoln's portrait on the obverse represents leadership and resilience. To own a coin from that year, especially one with such a fascinating era, is to own a piece of that history. It's a silent witness to the stories, the struggles, and the lives of the people who used it 5 decades ago. So the next time you come across a penny from 1970, don't dismiss it as ordinary. Take a closer look. Examine the space beneath the date. Search carefully for the absence of a mint mark. You might be holding not just a coin, but a fortune disguised in copper. With a potential value of $4,000, the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny proves that sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest surprises. And if you're lucky enough to find one, remember to cherish and protect it, because treasures like these are what make the world of numismatics so endlessly fascinating.